Welcome to the HawkCast with your host, AJ Hawk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob O'Neill joins us again. Second time reoccurring guest here on the podcast. So, Rob, I don't know if you know this, but the first time we had you on, this was episode 14 in December of 2014, and now we're over 100 episodes, 2017 now. So thanks for coming back, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's about time. I feel like I've been blowing you off. I've been so busy with this nonsense that it's all over the place. But it's good to be back. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind for you. I spoke with you pretty shortly after, I guess you it became public that you were the Bin Laden shooter, put
Yes.
three bullets in his head, and then recently I saw you while you were out. We saw the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk about that a little bit, but you have been on this whirlwind tour promoting your new book, The Operator. How was that whole process? But was it what you expected?
It's busier than I thought. A lot more interviews, a lot of radio stuff. Not as many book signings for obvious reasons, security and stuff like that. But it's been really good. It's interesting to watch like the bestsellers list go up and down, fluctuate with certain shows, and it's cool. So, the story's kind of been out there, but the Operator has got a. It's not about the Bin Laden raid. It's like that's like pages 330 or something like that. It's about everything before that and why the team was so good. That was like mission number 400 something for me. Most of the guys had been on hundreds of missions in combat, even before 9/11. So that's just part of a story. The whole premise of the book is because I'm a white guy from Montana that didn't know how to swim, and I became a Navy SEAL, and then I found myself like on the mission to rescue Marcus Luttrell, and then the mission to rescue Captain Phillips, and then the Bin Laden raid. And it's like the whole book, the proof is you can do anything you want. You're living proof too, man. You can do anything you want as long as you work hard and avoid the negativity, stay positive, and don't quit. That's the whole book's about that.
That's kind of what, and I told you this at the Derby. I listened to the book, which you voiced, so it was great, especially getting to know you over the years and hearing you voice it. You're right. So was that a conscious decision you made with your editor or whatever to not even speak of the Bin Laden raid till late in the book?
Yeah, I mean, it was because there's been books about the Bin Laden raid out there before, and it's just this is just part of it. I mean, we put it on the cover obviously because it's the biggest one we did, but there's more complex stories in there, more dangerous combat. Like there's a border bombing story where I ended up almost going to prison, but instead I got my first Silver Star for getting in a fight with these Pakistanis and Al Qaeda and Taliban all wrapped into one. We get ambushed, ended up literally bombing Pakistan. Turned into one of those. They came out with a story that it's an unprovoked attack on innocent Pakistanis and all this nonsense. But that's in there. There's the Iraqi surge is in there where we went out. We were hunting ISIS every single night, and just what it's like to creep up on those dudes. We figured out the best way to do it was to. Instead of like landing a helicopter right next to the target, land a few miles away, walk in, pick the locks, and just wake them up. So the story is just like having competitions who can wake up the most terrorists, like just stuff like that. And all these guys did it every time, and then we were just honored to be the right place, right time to pick for the Bin Laden raid. They picked the most experienced guys there, and just same group of guys have been working together for years and years.
So how does that work so in the book as well? So what the government they won't let you say SEAL Team 6? How does that work?
Yeah, I put the book in. This is the first one with the Bin Laden raid in it that was vetted. The Pentagon looked at it and they took some stuff out. One of the things they took out was that SEAL team. So it's not. You can tell what it is. I mean, because it says I worked at SEAL Team 2, SEAL Team 4, and then SEAL Team blank. And they wanted out. They had to take something out. They were good to me, so I'm not going to bitch about it. I won't say it anymore with relation to the book. But I mean, everybody knows who it was.
Yeah, and but then throughout the book you talk about all those raids. The guys that the government, whoever the high ups handpicked to go on the Bin Laden raid, are you guys like an offshoot of 6, or was it a bunch of guys put together from different teams? Like how was that put?
It was all guys from the same team, same squadron. They've got it divided up into certain ways. I'm not allowed to say how they're divided up either, but there's a couple different groups of guys, and we just happen to be. We just got back from war, and we were in a training cycle, and so if we went off to train, it wouldn't look suspicious. Because if they picked the guys that were ready to go to war or the guys that were already at war, if they stopped doing regular missions and training, people might have noticed. So they just picked us because it looked natural. So they picked the most experienced guys of that group that just got back, and it ended up being I think 28 total, but 23 went on the raid when we had a couple alternates.
So who would notice when you said you're trying, so it wouldn't look suspicious, I guess? Like, who notices that if all of a sudden they got sent off?
Like we have a lot of close friends there, the wives circles, all that stuff. They would notice something happen and they would start talking. Maybe they were just really trying to keep it as down low as they could. So anyone from your local bartender, because just rumor mill stuff goes around and people just start talking around town, and they're like, well, this squadron was here and now they're gone, so something's got to be going on. And even the night we went, the squadron that was already over there, their wives went out in town and celebrated because they thought their husbands had done the bin Laden raid. It was actually us. We flew over there. I would have been pissed too, man, if I was over there already and some other group came in and did it and they were like a backup team. That would have, great guys. They could have totally done it too, but it just so happened that way, man. I would have been upset.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to do it, right? Because you guys went and had like the special training facility that you all went to before.
Yeah, in order for the higher ups to see us train on the site, they wanted us to be there in the States to do it. But the guys that were over there were ready for it. Like when they told us it was bin Laden, we were ready to go that day. We didn't need to train, and we just. It helped because we knew what the exterior looked like, but you could send us, and we go on different targets every single night, a lot more complex than that. And it's like anything. It's just your tactics. It's what you've been doing for years, and you don't want to over assume what something's going to look like. You want to get there, see it, and then adapt to it. And we would have been ready to go.
Oh, so for all of us, if you could explain to the one thing that freaks me out when I watch anything and I listen to you explain these raids, how do you guys honestly not end up shooting each other? Like, how do you have such great like barrel discipline?
We try to keep things as simple as possible, and you don't want to make anything complex. And seriously, the rule, I'm not making this up, the rule we came up with is don't shoot someone that looks like you. That's seriously as easy as we came up with, because it used to be like a knock on a door and deconfliction, and we're like, well, that's too much noise. We're letting them know where we are. Just when someone comes in wearing your stuff, don't shoot them. And it was like that. And it's happened before, not with my guys, but with like we call it a blue on blue. Because we're fighting people that close with loud guns going off. It's scary. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid, but you really got to keep your stuff together. And people have shot their own guys before, just in the heat of it. So that's the best way we came up with it, was just to say that.
So don't shoot anybody that looks. So you're not doing the old. For the younger listeners might not know, but the old Three Amigos, when they're trying to like look up here, look, they're signaling each other.
up here.
Yeah. So you guys aren't out there doing that in Pakistan?
We tried to come up with everything, like putting chem lights under doors or deconflicting white lights, and it's like you're just giving too much away. Just come into, and it even used to be you can't aim your gun at your buddy. It's like, well, yeah, you can, just don't shoot him. So go ahead and aim, but trigger discipline, muzzle discipline, target placement. Anything we're shooting is worth shooting twice. So don't screw it up. Just all kinds of little rules we make up.
When would you have your gun pointed at one of your teammates?
Whenever you're clearing different structures, long hallways, it's very dangerous to parallel hallways, and you're just trying to clear everything out, and you got guys splitting up. It's not uncommon to come back on each other. And generally, like, one of the rules is you want to always clear back on the train. So like the train goes down the hallway, you want to come back onto it. Sometimes you don't, and you might enter in a room, and it gets dangerous because if you got like a good guy, bad guy, good guy situation, that's when you really need to have your shot placement down. But we train on this all the time. Like it's not 2 a days, it's like 10 a days. Like it's all we do is train on this, and all we do is see what the opponent's doing. We'll actually put good guys in the position of bad guys to see how they would react to us, and then we'll react to that. And we'll change tactics all the time, just based on what's going on. And it's healthy to do that, especially in sustained combat like this. You want to, because they're watching us. Like they knew when we first started going to war in Iraq that one of our tactics was land next to the house, and if a door's open, run in the door, because the old thinking in Vietnam was, let's just get it over with. And so they'd set it up like that, and they'd have machine guns inside waiting, and they'd kill like the first 6 guys in the room. And you spoke on that in the book. So how you guys had to kind of change your tactics. You said, what are we doing here? So how much leeway do you have? Do you have to like go through the higher ups for that, or how do you do that? We just kind of tell them, and it makes sense. They'll give us the time. It takes it's going to take, the mission is going to be longer if you insert 5 miles away and walk in, as opposed to landing right there. And it's more exciting to land on the X and get in the fight, but then like you want to see your family again. So you want to try to keep things smart. And a lot of missions, and I've said it in the book too, that some guys died because they got bored. Like, well, we'll just go hit this target real quick, come back and have coffee. It's like, then they get shot down. And it's always follow your rules. It's so important.
Yeah. How tough is that to not, I mean, it sounds like in the book, you talked about over 400 missions. Like how tough is it to not let your mind wander to where like, okay, here we go. Let's go. Maybe shoot a few guys or maybe take a few. Like, how do you keep yourself from actually doing that where you're not getting bored?
You got to figure some of the missions too. It's like you go 7-8 nights in a row without seeing a bad guy. And it's like, well, we inserted here. We walked all the way and it took 3 hours. We get there. There's nobody there. We're doing it again tomorrow. We're doing it again. It's like, come on, let's just get this over with and come back and play Xbox. And then that's the one time that you seriously get in the fight. You got to stay, we call it tactical patience. Because, and what I would tell my guys is don't fall in love with your target. Just follow your rules. Have your rules. If you need to change them, we all change them, but we always follow our rules. You got to. It's how important you want to see your kids again. That's the whole thing.
Who, as far as like your enemies go, who had like the most discipline, or who were the toughest guys to fight?
Probably some of the Taliban guys. The Al Qaeda guys were they were weaker. They were the kind that like dress up like women and hide, and they don't fight when you like Taliban would at least fight like when you show up. Which I mean says something about them. They're still savages completely, but like they'll defend their land and they'll fight it out. The ISIS guys weren't much. They're the same as Al Qaeda. They're the same dudes. I never really impressed with them. We rarely would we get in too big of fights with them. It would be over. It was over in Iraq to the point where I remember wondering, were we missing the war? Because I hear about it on the news and everyone says it's horrible. Like this is easy. Like war became really good training for us.
Wow. So so you felt like you're missing the war, meaning like, would you go in and were these guys like surrendering, or was it just they were that sloppy? Sometimes
they would surrender. Sometimes, and when they would fight, they would like. I mean, we had better technology.
Would they throw little weird punches like this.
Well, I remember one dude coming around a corner and he's like hiding in a corner, and it's completely dark, and it makes sense because he can't see, but I can see him, and I'm looking at him like, are you kidding me right now? And just sitting trying to ambush us, but it didn't work that well for him.
Did they ever get a hold of any night vision?
Yeah, some of them would, and it would get interesting when that would happen. They got good at some of the. We really had to get good at our, especially with the Taliban, using suppressors, making sure everything's suppressed because the first thing they shoot at is the muzzle flash. So when they can see that, and they did get night vision once in a while. Sometimes they get lasers. That fight I was mentioning on the border, I got hit with a laser through a scope. It was a daytime fight. Horrible experience, but they were hitting us with lasers and it kind of messed my eye up a little bit, especially looking through a scope ad. Nothing worse too than having people shoot at you effectively and your bullets can't reach them. So you just kind of got to wait it out to either get a better position or wait for the Air Force to show up. We give the Air Force a lot of crap too, but when you need them, they're awesome.
Yeah. How big, what is it like? I've heard contractors that go over there. Did you ever work like around any of these personal contractors that come over?
Yeah. They would mainly do security for the outstations and bases where we worked. We'd hire them for safe houses. They'd be security guys, and then they'd run the local security dudes. They're all right. I mean, I never saw anything as bad as like the old horrible Blackwater stories and all that stuff. I know a lot of guys that worked at Blackwater, and they got the bad rap as mercenaries and all that nonsense. I mean, I think if you're over there, regardless of what you're getting paid, if you start getting shot at, you're going to defend yourself. And the enemy was they were really good at staging stuff, so it looked like our guys were misbehaving themselves. But most my experience with coalition forces were the good guys. They're not trying to mutilate people, not trying to murder people. It's just it gets wrapped. I mean, like the bad guys, we'd hit houses, get in a big fight in a house, clear it, hit it with rockets, and then the next day they're saying, well, it was a school and there was a wedding going on. It's like nonsense. That's not at all what happened.
So it's just the propaganda that they want to use.
Oh, totally. And they don't need to tell the truth, so they can just spin it out. And then a lot of our media will run with it because they just want the big story. They're trying to get the Pulitzer Prize for war crimes or whatever it is. I've been hit with the most. There's been some ridiculous stuff out there about the carrying tomahawks and like massacring people with them.
Like a Native American Indian?
Yeah, well, that was one of our squadron. We were big into Native American stuff, just kind of as a warrior. And so when we would have our guys there for a full year doing well in combat, we would give them a tomahawk, but it's like a plaque, and like you hang it up on the wall. And so that turned into, they'd carry them and they're cutting heads off. And it's like, you try to explain it to people. There was a big article a couple months ago. It's like you try to explain to people when you're fighting in the mountains and stuff like that, like your weight is in ounces and ounces equal pounds. So you don't carry extra stuff just to look cool. It's not Call of Duty. It's a lot it's a lot more permanent than that.
Were you always carrying a big M60?
No, I carried it. I carried it when I was at SEAL Team 2, and then when I got to the other team, I carried an M4 and then a H&K 416, which is all 5.56.
So how many? So say you go out on like just a so-called routine mission. How many weapons do you have on you?
I'd carry one.
Just one. You don't have a pistol like in your shoe or anything?
No. Again, with the weight thing, I learned in combat that, like I said, combat's good training. I learned that because the deal with a secondary weapon is if your primary goes down, you grab your secondary and start shooting. I learned the time it takes to get your pistol out. My buddy already killed him. And so I would rather carry a cleaning rod. So if my gun goes down, I'll just clean my gun. I've had that happen before, too. That's a horrible feeling when you're in a gunfight and all of a sudden you slip and fall in the snow, and then you got to tear your gun apart to get the ice out of your damn bore.
Wow, right in the middle of a fight, huh?
In the middle of a fight.
Does that happen more than we see? Because that doesn't happen in movies, obviously. Everything's all glorious. Does that happen more, like little glitches like that? Where
Yeah, you always see weird stuff happens, and combat's a lot less complex than Hollywood makes it look. And then someone's always got a smart-ass comment. Someone will slip and fall, and you just hear, in the middle of a gunfight, you hear, yeah, elite Navy SEALs, good job.
How do your radios work? You wearing one earpiece in, or how is it?
I would usually wear two. You want to be able to talk to your guys and then talk to the leadership and just kind of keep them
like leadership back in Washington or what?
No. Usually right there on the ground, or maybe back a couple miles at the base, but just to keep them separate. And then you can talk to aircraft on one and then your guys on the other. But you want to keep the chatter down too. The best way to communicate is not talk too much, because especially with a lot of people think just because they're talking they're communicating, and that's not the case. Like the best way to communicate with your team is when you're done saying what you're saying, stop saying it. Just never pass up the opportunity to shut up.
Don't narrate it. Hey, just shot this guy. Ooh, man, he looks bad.
And that happens too.
Really?
I used to tell my guys, because you have a thing called a push to talk.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a push to talk. It's not a push to think. Okay, I want you to talk.
So I think you said, was it 2006 you got your first kill in combat?
2006, yeah, it was January 2006. Yes.
So let's say
there was some before that, but that was all with air support when we went after Luttrell and the snipers. Mm-hmm. How are you guys for language on this? Because I got a good one.
It's anything. It's all mine, man. Whatever you got.
I called it an A-10 for the first time when we were going after Luttrell. We ran into some Taliban guys, and that's when we came up with the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," except an A-10. An A-10 will just fucking kill you. There's no way around it. So, but then the next one, up close and personal, was in Ramadi in Iraq. It was actually me and the sniper who initiated the fire to rescue Richard Phillips. He and I got our same kills, first kills at the same time. Pretty cool. And again, it was a maneuver that we'd done thousands of times. We just covered each other's back, called a cross pan. So one guy's looking this way, one guy's looking that way. And as we turned, two guys popped up and we blasted them. It was just like, and they looked like pepper poppers, like a training thing. They popped up, boom, you killed them.
Wow.
It's like, well, that was quick. Now what do we do?
And so was that with an M4?
Yeah.
And is it set to semi-auto or three shot like burst?
Yeah. Always do semi-auto.
Do you ever go fully auto?
No. Unless you're carrying this like a 60 or a saw. There's no reason to.
You can't carry enough ammo, can you, to go full auto?
Yeah, it's heavy. I mean, usually with a 60 gun, he'll carry 500 rounds, which is a lot. I don't know if you go through that much ammo though. It's like you're in a world of hurt. You should get you want some of your Air Force buddies to show up or something.
So let's say you get your first kill. You shoot this guy in 2006. What do you say in your push to talk?
Oh, what did we say? I think I asked my buddy what we're supposed to do, and he said, well, let's do one of those bounding moves. Like, let's just back up. Because we'd already I saw a dude get smoked right before that in a house. We were with one of my Brit friends, a special boat service guy, and we hadn't seen combat that close. And one of my guys, the Brit he'd seen all kinds of combat. He was known for having like this cloud of combat follow him. But we went in this hallway where this dude should have killed four of us, but my buddy got a quick pan and blasted him. Hit us, just spread him apart. His face all lit up, and he asked the Brit, he goes, "Hey, Andy, check that guy." And he looks down and he goes, "Oh, he's fucked me."
That's it.
First one. Then we went outside and got right in the fight. And we ended up killing probably about 10 guys right outside there. We just happened to come in on an Al-Qaeda hornet's nest. So it was us, SAS, Delta, and SBS. So we had Brits and Americans there. It was a big fight. But
So is it like what's the structure like? Is this like a community? What is these houses like with I see you with the serious water jug too for the audio listeners that aren't watching. I love it.
That's for the big weekend. Yeah, it's like normal houses. Iraq's pretty modern. So it's like
But are there like families next door that are just hanging out and that are not Al Qaeda?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And they're getting terrorized by them too. So that's like, it's not that they don't expect it, but Al Qaeda's not great to them either. You know, especially that whole, because Al Qaeda, what they did when we were there was they were really pushing, like they have been for 1,400 years, pushing the Civil War. So this Sunni Shia thing. So mainly they're Sunni around there with Al Qaeda, but they're not getting along with that. That's actually how we ended up winning. Is not a great term for it, but how we turned the tide in Iraq is we convinced the Sunni to turn against Al Qaeda. They call it the awakening. So there would be, it was not uncommon for there to be families in the houses. Like they would take over their houses and live with them. And that's how you find them. Like because I was an interrogator, I've interrogated thousands of these guys. All we learned was you don't need to waterboard them. You don't need to do whatever. You get 5 guys in a house, separate them, ask them all the same 3 questions. Whose house is this? Who's the man of the house? What are their names? And then kick him out, ask the next guy. You'll have 4 people saying one thing and 1 person saying another. That's a liar. It's like it became really, like I was saying earlier, everything is a lot easier than Hollywood makes it.
Yeah. Do you see guys, do people usually give info pretty quick?
Yeah. The best way to get it is from the kids. You pull a kid in about 12 or 13 and then treat him like a man and just say, finally, the man of the house is here, and like kind of dust him off.
Yeah.
Start singing like Mariah Carey, or at least how she used to.
You pump him up, man. I have a 4-year-old son. You just pump him up. You can trick him into anything you want.
Yeah, yeah. And they'll tell you. They know everything that's going on.
Wow. So, say you're a young kid. Let's say you're in a different life, Rob. You're born over there somewhere in wherever, Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, or and you grow up, is it a known thing? Do you have to, what's like their military service, or how do they join, or how does it happen to where they get indoctrinated?
The big problem as far as terrorism goes is the madrasas. A lot of they call it Salafi. It's a version of Sunni Islam. It's based in Saudi Arabia. We know they're funding it. They're even funding some colleges here. They're trying to push Sharia law on everybody, and they really get indoctrinated that, obviously the Jews are Israel's the little Satan, we're the great Satan, hate. And the problem is you only know what you're taught. It's not like people are born bad; they're just taught crap, and that's all they know. And they're taught that the Shia are they're not infidels. They don't believe the right thing, so that's why they hate each other. And it's all based on the 12th Imam. We could do another podcast on Islam if you want. It's fascinating. I started studying it when I started going over there, and it's fascinating. But you need to take a wrap off as far as 2017, Man on the Moon, that whole satellite thing going on. Like maybe a few things are misconstrued a little bit, but that's how they get indoctrinated in that. And as far as the military stuff, that's in Iraq. That's mainly Shia, and it's an Iranian-backed Shia government, and they hate the Sunnis, and 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. And then Afghanistan, they don't know what time is. So like,
what do you mean?
Like they don't know how old they are.
Really?
Yeah, it's like when I first went over there, I had a buddy come back, and I was like, what's it like in Afghanistan? And he said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, just go see it. And it's some of the cities are fairly modern, but like you get in the valleys, they don't know. They believe in dragons, fire-breathing dragons, and like they haven't met the people in the next valley. They've been living there 10,000 years, and it's wacky world. Up like their time zone is 30 minutes off the rest of the world, because that's as backwards as you can get. Jeez. Like yes, it's there's some crazy stuff going on, and they really believe that.
Was that put in place to keep power over their people, to not give them any awareness of the outside world? I
just think that they didn't want it. They want their valleys. They don't. They live in the same structures. They farm the same way. I've never seen them with. I've seen them before where I remember going through. There was a little girl on the side of the road. I gave her a bottle of water. She took it from me, dumped the water out, and then kept the bottle like to play with. Like,
oh yeah, you said that in the book, I think.
Yeah. It's bizarro. It's some weird stuff going on.
If you're born into it, yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. They don't know better, and they're good people. They really are. They just don't know any better.
Yeah. So where do you think, like, where does it go from now? I know you're a Fox News contributor and you're on there a lot and you try to explain to us on TV what's happening. Like what's the next big fight we're going to get in?
I think that we're going to need to clean up ISIS and Al Qaeda over there, and that's an issue. We have guys on the ground there; they're doing a pretty good job. We need the coalition to be more aware, as far as like Jordan and United Arab Emirates. Like we've been over there before with the Emiratis, and to hear them explain to the locals how backwards they are. It's like, look at Dubai, look at Bahrain. It's like you can have both. You can have a modern city and technology and Islam. You don't need to be savages. So we need that. I mean, we really need help from our allies to explain to the people that just be more open-minded. And it starts. I mean, because I think ISIS gets some headlines now, but the real issue is they're called the Cubs of the Caliphate. They're 5-year-olds beheading people. Jeez. Okay, and that's an issue. Imagine how that 5-year-old's going to be in 10 years. Is he going to be normal? He's going to be a complete psychopath. Yeah. And there's legions of them. Damn. And at some point you're going to have to kill your way to peace, which sucks. But because some of the fighting age males, there's no turning back with the kids. I almost want to tell people, like, go look on, try to find some of that crap online, but I almost don't want people to, because you can't unsee some of the stuff these kids are doing to people. I've seen some fucked up shit, and this stuff gives me nightmares.
Is it usually was that one of the more surprising things, that once you got over there, you see how young some of these kids are carrying guns and like you said, beheading people?
Yeah, I mean, it's the beheading is one thing, but like carrying the guns, that's just a way of life. Yeah. And even some of my buddies over here that are from Mosul have told me, like, they're from Iraq, they're going through the legal process of becoming a citizen. They want that extreme vetting from those parts of the world. My friends are like, look, I grew up carrying an AK-47. I don't want to carry one in San Diego. Like, I want to vet these people because there's some bad people over there, whether we like it or not. But I mean, it's a warrior's culture. There's no doubt about it. But it's way different than here. And I've always said too, if I need to see pyramids ever again, there's one in Vegas. I'll go to the Luxor. Good buffet there.
What about North Korea? Is that a real threat?
Yeah, if they get intercontinental ballistic missiles, it is. It's a threat to Seoul, South Korea, and Japan, China. But I think that one can be solved with some intense Chinese special forces, like a coup, and poison his ass. And once the North Koreans realize they've been lied to for their entire lives, I think they might come around, because they're completely brainwashed there. And that dude, I mean, he was raised to think his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, was a god, and he's a god. And, you've seen the way he acts. And he likes the attention. But a war with them would be, no war is fun. People die and a lot of destruction. I mean, sometimes it's fun, but I'd rather there wasn't. And I wouldn't, a war with Korea, we would take them out, especially with the technology we have now. But, because remember the thing with Iraq, it's like, yeah, they got a 1 million man army. It's like, yeah, sweet. That was a day and a half. But obviously it's different in Korea, but I think with the coup from the inside, and especially with the technology leaking in, that people are starting to realize it. I mean, he gets nukes, it's game on, because part of our deterrence is preemptive strikes. And, I'd hate to see a nuclear war again. We're the only country that's ever used them. Yeah. But we possess the capability, and they're right there. We got them in subs right off the coast.
So you think if we kill, what is this one? Kim Jong-il?
Kim Un.
This is Un in power right now. If we kill him, or Chinese people kill him, do you think that, like, just that killing that one person can open up that whole country?
I think it will.
Really?
It'll take some time, but they'll obviously have to have military leadership there, someone step up. But there's got to be people there that are aware of what's going on. And just look at the difference between Seoul and Pyongyang. Like, people, there are no birds in North Korea because they're being eaten, like starvation and slavery and all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, I just read a book on this kid he's like the first person that was born in a North Korean like labor camp, which is basically like the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Who escaped. And he wrote a book, and he's out now, and all this stuff. And it's basically like modern day Holocaust happening.
It totally is, yeah. And no one can see it because it's a hermit civilization. They're all cut off.
And they scare you from. It's almost like, if you watch or read a lot of the Scientology stuff, if you narc on your like, say I'm married and my wife and I are in Scientology. If I say, hey, we should let's go get on Google, or let's get out of here.
It turns you in.
It can turn me in, and that's what these like labor camps are like. They're going to kill your whole family.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like, we can't be but like America can't be the police to the whole world though. Like, where do we stop?
We can't, but you can definitely, like, when you put sanctions on someone like that to try to stop them, and then people like China don't enforce it. You need to punish China. You need to punish the people they're trading with them. Something needs to be done. We've seen for the last 8 years weak foreign policy, and the allies go away, the aggressors move, and it's just, it sucks. But until women are in charge, there's going to be war. I mean that. We got to give them a shot. We wouldn't have war. We would have countries that don't talk to each other for a while. But other than that,
yeah, people have been fighting since the dawn of time. We're always going to fight.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier, you said, well, I don't know, sometimes war can be fun. What parts of war could you say would be slivers of fun?
Exciting, I guess. Sneaking up on a house where there's bad guys that's awesome. Like, you can't pay for that adrenaline. It's just cool, and like when sometimes when the bullets start flying and it's in your favor, it's adrenaline rush, and it's that's what you're trained to do. There are times that it's really scary. I've seen suicide bombers up close, and nothing cool about that. That's some of the scariest, most permanent, loudest. We had a dude, I mentioned in the book too, when some of our new guys were there, and we had a guy blow himself up and an arm flew in between us. And he goes, "Hey, did you just throw a grenade?" And I heard one of my buddies go, "No, it's suicide bomber. Welcome to Afghanistan."
God.
Sometimes people just blow up.
So who do those guys build those vests themselves, or does like an elder build it and say, "Here, this is what you do"? It's
usually someone smarter that builds them, and it's not the brightest guys that blow themselves up, but they're true believers, man. They martyr themselves. They go to heaven. They get the mansion with the 72 rooms and the virgins in each of them and all that. They believe it. Like they know them. They know what's happening. Like the way that I describe it is picture like your craziest aunt, who is the most religious person you know, and multiply her by 1 million. That's what one of these people is. Like, they know they're right.
And turn her violent too.
Oh yeah, turn her violent. Yeah, put a bomb on her, and then tell her she's going to meet Jesus as soon as she blows up.
Yeah, that's. You're right.
You'll notice none of the leaders do it. They just have their people do it.
That's a great point, and that's the thing with bin Laden. You talked about all the time. You guys assumed this was a suicide mission, and he had a vest on.
He's going to blow himself up. If anyone's going to blow himself up for the cause, it's him. He didn't have anything.
So do you think he? So if you wouldn't have got him that night, do you think he'd still be out there?
Yeah, he was going to leave in September of 2011 to a new house, get new couriers.
How did they build so that structure he had in Pakistan though? How was that even built? He sends the info like, "Hey, build this structure for me."
I have to look that up. I think they had it built before he got there, and then they brought him in some. Pakistan knew he was there. The ISI definitely knew he was there. They're living right next to him. There's a military academy up the street. The cops are right there. It's an odd house, big house. But yeah, Pakistan had interest in keeping him safe too, just to keep Al Qaeda off their backs. They're looking out for themselves. So people definitely knew he was there.
It had to be. I guess Pakistan was probably scared to narc on him. If they, you're dead, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a funny world over there. They don't want to be too. They're already enemies of Al Qaeda, but they don't want to, I guess, give them that much of a reason to start hitting them. And they kind of save face. They look like idiots because they didn't know we were coming, but they didn't know we were coming, so they didn't really turn on anybody. So when you got there, you guys flew on. I know these classified new helicopters you took in there on that raid. One crashed. How much time do you think bin Laden had before he heard the helicopters and thought, "Oh, they're here," until you guys breached the door? I don't know. I've thought about that a lot. He had to know someone was there. I don't know if he was assuming people died in the helicopter, but he had to hear the shots downstairs. He heard the AKs going off. I don't know if he thought he was going to – I don't know. Maybe it was someone coming to move him because we were very quiet. And even when we killed Khalid on the steps, no sound was made. And we didn't say anything to him going up the stairs. And I didn't say anything before I killed him.
So you all had suppressors?
Yep.
Was that normal for any mission?
Yeah. It's you want that just because it doesn't completely silence the gun. It's still pretty loud, but you can't see where it's coming from. So when you're shooting with a laser, you basically can shoot from the hip if you want to and hit in the head because you got a laser coming out that only you can see and a floodlight that only you and your guys can see if no one else can. So it's all you light up the whole room, but no one can see it.
So that's your infrared laser coming off the barrel of your gun that you see with your night vision?
Yeah. It's a different frequency that your eyes can't pick up that your night vision does, because night vision is just a recreation of light. So you have what's called a PEQ4, PEQ4 on the end of the gun, and it's both a floodlight, a laser, and a visible laser. There's one visible you can switch it up to if you want to, and that's like for dogs and things or pointing stuff out. Dogs will respond to the red lasers. They can't see the dark ones.
So is having that night vision one of the most valuable tools you guys have over the enemy?
Oh, no doubt about it. Yeah, that and the jets.
The air support, I say. Was
the air support, the helicopters and all that good stuff. But yeah, the night vision for sure. We still route them even when they do have it. They can see us better.
What about your periph? Is it kind of weird not having great periph when you're in the pitch black and you're in a gunfight?
I got used to it. Even when they came out with the quad night vision. I'm sure someone listening is going to correct me. I forgot what they're called, but they're the four, and I didn't even use them because I was so used to the two. Like even with skydiving, I would jump with the two, and I'm just used to losing a lot of the periphery. What
do you mean the four? What is that?
Well, there's the four tubes, so it's like instead of having two coming out, there's four now. And so you get more periphery, and it's a wider angle. I never did use it.
Is that what the one dude, who was it? The guy that wrote the book under the fake name, he got busted. He had to pay didn't he have to give $6 million to the government?
Yeah, 6 to 8 or something like that. Yes.
So that was that No Easy Day book. But the dude who wrote it, he wrote it under this pen name. But couldn't you easily track it through who he was through the stories?
Yeah, they tracked it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's my buddies told me who were military. I
still
guys.
Get asked about that book. They're like, so this is the second book you wrote? I'm like, no, I didn't write that book, man.
Have you spoke to that guy that wrote the book?
A couple times. It's kind of a weird community. Like the best way I've heard it described is it's like a freight train going 100 miles an hour. Once you hop off, it keeps going. So you just kind of lose touch with people. I haven't talked to him. I mean, that's a lot of money to lose, man.
Yeah, why?
But, I mean, that's proof. Like if you're in the military and you want to write a book, do it the right way.
And so, what is the right way? What'd you have to do?
I went to the Pentagon. They have a department, and then you give them your transcript, and then they read it, and then whoever is involved with some of the missions, they'll give it to them, and they get to chop it. And so a lot of people read it, and it didn't take as long as I thought, and they were a lot better to me than they were good to me. I don't know why. I think it's a good story. It's a positive American story, and it's all legit. I'm not bullshitting anybody.
Do you still get people come to you about asking you about that? Like, oh, are you really the guy that shot him?
Yeah, I get that quite a bit. And it doesn't really matter to me because the team got him. We didn't do it without the pilots. Like the pilots saved everyone's lives. The air crew was there. The female analyst found him. Like I'm a guy that followed cool guys up a set of stairs, and my tactics, like I was talking about earlier, had me turn right to cover his back. And there's Bin Laden. That's all. I did what any Ranger would have done, any guy from Delta, anything like that. So I'm just telling stories, shit that I saw. This is a lifetime story, and and when people say, well, Bin Laden's not, it's like I don't have time. I don't care. It's conspiracy theories, whatever. He's dead. I saw it. I can't convince you.
Yeah, who cares? And have you heard the thing? People tell me, Bin Laden died in 2004.
Yeah,
you heard that? Oh, you made it up?
Yeah, well, I didn't personally. We did though. The dialysis thing. Mm-hmm. That was counterintelligence, so that when someone would come back trying to get paid, and I found Bin Laden, I know it's him. I saw the dialysis machine. It's like, well, no, you didn't, because we made that up.
Because everyone said he wasn't going to make it much longer anyway. Well,
they would lie. They would say, I know it was him because I saw this, and that's how we would vet them because we fed you that story. He doesn't have dialysis, and they would laugh at us. Al Qaeda would laugh at us. Americans are so dumb. They think he's in a cave. They think he's got a dialysis. I'm like, no, we really don't think that. But you think we think that. That's why we're smarter than you.
So you guys had to put a little. Who puts that misinformation out? Did some General Mad Dog Mattis?
Yeah, people smarter than the shooters on the ground. Like some of those analysts. That woman from the CIA was just one of the coolest people I've ever met. She was so awesome. The movie was pretty much just like her. She was that awesome.
So she was Chastain, Jessica Chastain. Is that right?
Yeah.
So she portrayed that lady well.
Yeah, like to a T, like no bullshit, 100%. Why aren't you guys leaving now? He's there. Go get him. She was funny. I ran into her a few hours before the raid. She actually came over with us, and she was pacing. And I said, "Why are you why are you nervous? And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Why aren't you nervous? And I said, because I do this every night. You know, we get in helicopters, we fly somewhere, we fuck with people. This is just a longer flight. You have to be right. So I guess I see why you're nervous. Have a good nap or whatever. She's pretty cool.
So what are these? There's the famous picture of like Obama and Hillary Clinton, everyone watching from the Situation Room. What's that?
I think that's when the helicopter crashed.
Is that so? Are they watching from the other helicopter? What video are they watching?
No, they had something above us. I don't know what it was.
Like a drone?
Yeah. And what's neat is that's actually not the Situation Room. Have you been to the West Wing?
I've been to the White House a few times, but they kept us in the main whatever.
Because there's the Situation Room is right there, and then there's like a secondary Situation Room. And the reason that President Obama is in the folding chair is because General Webb was in there, and he got the feet up in the other room, and he was calling everybody, so they all came running in, and then the helicopter crashed. So that's why that's a pretty cool picture.
Oh, it's it's an awesome picture, man.
I mean, it pretty much sums everything up right there.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I always wondered, so they're watching some kind of feed. They don't have any video inside the house?
No, and we didn't carry any cameras. You don't want that shit. They'll just Monday morning quarterback you. Like, why'd you do this? Why didn't you do this? Like, just let us do our thing. Justice will be served, and you don't need to know what it looks like.
So, yeah, that's what I was thinking when if you didn't, I'm thinking, oh, everyone's got GoPros or somehow live streaming, but you guys don't want it because that's funny. It makes me think like, yeah, I would 100%. You don't want some dude sitting in his bow tie Monday morning quarterback and saying, oh, you should have shot this man in the chest, not the face. That's inhumane.
Yep. And then now you're going to prison. You know, something
so
like
can you guys make that decision to say we're not wearing cameras?
Part of me wishes there was cameras because like my story is 100% legit. But there's a couple different things out there that didn't happen. But I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Like what? But what's out there that didn't happen?
Well, no, I mean like the book Noisy Day came out, and it's like he kind of got tricked by. He said he was present when Bin Laden was killed, and he kind of got tricked into saying he killed him, but he didn't.
Oh.
Not again. That doesn't really matter to me. But he got suckered into it. So that's the big. The people ask me, well, there's another guy saying he did. It's like, well, no, there's not actually. But
well, didn't they also say that even after you shot Bin Laden that people just put rounds in him?
Allegedly.
I mean, I would have. I think I would do that, Rob. I think I would.
But
I think I would drop I'd drop an elbow probably.
Give him a couple big elbows.
Something.
Yeah, his son Hamza just tweeted out about revenge or whatever.
I saw that one of his kids just like today said, "What I'm gonna avenge my dad's death."
Well, you know. He's pissed.
How was his kid in the Was this kid in the compound that night?
No, he'd be dead if he was.
So, how many people died? How many?
Khalid was there. Khalid was armed. He tried to defend him, and just my buddy pulled that move with him. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. When he told him to come here in 2 different languages.
So he's said like in like Arabic and what?
Arabic and Urdu. He said, "Come here, Khalid."
And Khalid literally just like pops his head.
He was confused, like what?
Bam.
And I was like, God, I hope we live through this because people need to know what happened here. That was so smart. It was so tactically sound. Like I wouldn't have thought of that. Like, cause he remembered that the woman said Khalid would be on the stairs. So he remembered his name. And he called him that name.
How the hell does this lady have that much information to know that Khalid would be on the stairs?
She was 100% right on everybody in the house.
So I don't know. There's at least one narc in that house.
It was her whole, I think that they just did such good work tracking him back because they weren't turning the phones on for 90 minutes leaving the house. They only used one car, one for town, one for out. They were smart. They were really smart about it, but she knew everything.
You know who the modern day Bin Laden reminds me El Chapo.
El
Chapo finds a way just to keep eluding guys. I mean, he's in prison now, but then he dug his tunnel out of jail.
He has had someone do those tunnels for him. He's a clever guy. That's a dangerous place too, man. We don't want to mess too much with those cartels.
No, I let them be. They're good with me, man. You guys do your thing down there.
Do your thing. Just leave me alone.
Stay away from me. Yeah, that's what. See, but how they keep eluding guys. Let's say you're wearing your night vision. You walk into a room, and I know this has happened with you too, and you see a guy like hiding in the corner, waiting to ambush you, and he doesn't know you're there. What's he doing? Just sitting there like clenching holding an AK?
Yeah, an AK usually. Waiting
like,
to shoot.
Is he pointing it like this and you just...
You just kind of got it down at the low ready or something. I don't know. But like, I mean, if they're pointing up, you got to get your shots off quick. But I've seen it before in the exterior where they're just waiting. I don't know what for.
So what's the most... If your guys are going into a house, what's the most dangerous position? Like in...
The door.
Who?
The door.
So the guy that goes through the door first?
Yeah. But you don't want to be behind the door either because they shoot right through it. They'll shoot through the door. So the breacher's you want to get your bombs on quick. The guys have been killed being shot through the doors. And then we would just call the door the fatal funnel. So if you're going to commit and you're going to go and get in on the wall, and you want to be like a few inches off the wall too, because bullets will hit the wall and they'll travel down it sometimes too. So you don't want to lean on the wall. There's a lot of stuff you just get used to doing the right way. But we learned it was best to, as opposed to running in the room like we did, but when the war started, is to try to clear as much from the outside as you can before you go in, which makes sense. Try to freeze down, see if there's windows or whatever you can get into. And there's just as clever as you can be. And the most simple paintball tactic, if it worked, bring it up. Seriously.
Did you guys ever find yourself strapping a bunch of C4 to a door to realize that it was actually unlocked?
No, that's generally you're going to hear about that. You generally want to check the door, see if it's unlocked, open.
So does one guy like hit the doorknob? I'm like, okay, we're good. It's open.
We had a guy ring the doorbell on accident once.
Why? What happened?
He just leaned on it.
Oh, okay.
And the guy was putting a bomb on the damn door at the time, and he's like, "Well, I guess I don't need this anymore." And the terrorist opened the door. We grabbed him.
He just straight opened it.
Yeah, he opened it because why would they ring the doorbell? So
How
he
do you
opened.
That's I know it's training, but that's those quick decisions you have to make. How do you make the decision where I'm not going to shoot the guy?
Just based on the threat. How's he moving? What's he holding? Where's his hands? You usually can tell by their hands what they're doing. Suicide vests are hard to see, just based on. That's why Bin Laden got shot, because the way he was moving. He was presenting himself as a suicide bomber, which I thought he was.
And a headshot as well too. You don't want to shoot him in the vest.
No, it wouldn't set it off, but people don't die as quickly as you'd think when you shoot them in the chest. And all they need is they'll put like leads on their wrists, and all they need to do is touch them, and the bomb goes off. So you need to take them out, and the quickest way is to shoot them in the mouth.
Mouth? Why is that? Goes up.
It's in the back of the brain, right in the pons medulla. What do they say in the Happy Gilmore? The Happy Gilmore.
Medulla oblongata.
The water boy.
That's simple. Just keep it simple, right?
Seriously, shoot him in the mouth. But I shot Bin Laden in the head, in the face.
Yeah, man. There's the old picture. That's everyone always talks about the picture. Why don't they release it?
It's out there. It'll get released eventually. I mean, I'm assuming when someone needs votes based on a conspiracy theory.
It's out there where? What do you mean it's out where?
Well, I mean it's in Washington. It's at the CIA. It's probably on Capitol Hill somewhere. I know guys that have seen it. I know I have friends in Congress that have seen it, and like it's worse. Like there's the fake ones on the internet. It's way worse than those. Like it's a pretty disturbing picture.
Well, didn't you say you had to like hold his head together to take the picture?
Yes.
Because it was, I guess you couldn't identify him if it's split open.
Yeah, split wide open. It's right up from his nose. You're getting an exclusive here. I don't talk about this on Fox.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I appreciate you, Rob, recurring guest. I'm gonna let you roll in a second, but I got just a few more questions for you, man. Sure. I know you're busy, man. You said you're doing over 300 speaking gigs this year.
I did 300 between 250 and 300 last year. This year it slowed down just because we're doing more interviews for the book than anything, but it might pick up again. It's fun though. I just gave one last night in Chicago. Just they're fun. It's interesting, especially with the happy hour crew, because they get a couple drinks in them and you can get away with saying stuff, and it's fun. Give them some lessons learned on team building and honesty and all that stuff, but then throw in some war stories. It's a trip. I really enjoy it. It's fun.
What's the overall theme of your speeches?
The overall is that how success in combat is applicable to any high performance team. And it all comes down to people skills. Like you've seen it in football. I'm sure when morale's high, the team plays better. When people want to be there, they believe in the goal. They're better. And I've seen it when morale's low, and it's not good. Then effective communication. Say what you mean, get the point across, and then don't fall in love, like I said, with your target. Try to keep emotion out of your decision making. Your initial reaction is the wrong reaction, and just try to think it through. And I'll just give examples of that. Like I fly every day, so I deal with the TSA every day. And when I feel like flipping out on TSAs, and it's like, okay, what am I bringing to the problem? That's my emotion. Chill out. He's doing his job. Like try to, just stuff like that. And then not quitting no matter what happens. Like I've seen people so close to goals in life and then have a bad day and quit. It's like, come on, man, just take a wrap off. Time is going to heal everything. You're going to be fine.
when you said your initial reaction is maybe not the right one, what does that mean? Because a lot of people say trust your gut and go with your initial instinct.
Yeah, people do say that too. I think that it's better to respond than to react. And it's like an example would be like someone says something and you snap at them and then you feel bad about it. It's like, well, I shouldn't have done that. Just give yourself a second. It almost got me killed one time. I went after some guys on an emotion, and we got that border bombing was because I wanted to kill these guys, and I didn't think it through, and I went in the daytime. And stories in the book. It's a pretty good story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It scared me for a second how close you were to getting in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They had an investigating general. He said, Leavenworth or a Silver Star.
It's a fine line, I guess.
He's like, you realize we're not at war with Pakistan. You can't just go out there and bomb Pakistan. It's like, well, I can, but I need to be in contact and I need a positive identification of a threat, which I had, but we need to prove that now.
How are the rules of engagement now as far as like what you guys did in the SEALs?
They were getting worse. Whenever they try to feed zero collateral damage, that's not a reality. There's going to be collateral damage. And the second you start taking tools away from operators, you're putting them in danger. And then you're filling them with self-doubt as to whether or not we should take this shot. And we've seen it before where, taking fire from a cave, trying to get air support and having someone from 100 miles away say, well, we're not saying there are women and children in that cave. We're just saying we can't prove there aren't. It's like, well, they're shooting at us from the cave. We need, I have a simple little suggestion. Whenever someone's in an office typing rules of engagement, they should have someone shooting at them.
Yeah. It's almost, everything, I hate to relate it to football. It's like my one, Luke Fickell, he's the head coach of Cincinnati now. He was my linebacker coach at Ohio State, and he would say he'd be killing us, yelling at us, going crazy on something we did in a game. He's like, he'd calm down. Like you said, he'd calm down after a while and he'd say, he's like, all right, guys, I know it's easy for me to sit here and say this in my air conditioning office. I know, but like you're out there living it. But so
that's a perfect analogy. It's perfectly applicable. Football. I've talked to football teams before. Is the closest sport to combat. It's the way the team works. Everyone has a job, and we're trying to do the same thing. You're putting on your armor and you're meeting the enemy. Like it is the closest one to it. So that's smart of a coach to say that. I like that. I might steal that.
Yeah, it was great. Believe me, I use that as well with my kids and all over the place. But as far as the communication with the team, that's something you spoke of. So the guy who shot Captain Phillips, you say dealt with some backlash from the teams. Was it jealousy? What was it?
It's kind of weird when you get guys of that caliber that are so close to doing something like that. They just get a little jealous, especially like I saw it with a couple of bosses. They were, I don't know why his boss didn't get a shot, but he didn't, and he was pissed. And there was a little backlash there. And then the same thing with me with the Bin Laden thing. I think they're so close. It's easy for me to say because I killed him. But like, what if the guy in front of me that's like, well, fuck, man, I could have killed him.
Which is kind of in that aspect, you would think most of the guys that were with you, the 23 guys or whatever, would be like, yeah, it would have been cool if it was me, but hey, I was there. It's pretty special to be there.
Oh yeah, I was honored to be invited, just to be part of that team.
Guys, how many total people did you guys kill in that compound?
5.
So what the hell is a confirmed kill? You were confused too.
I have no idea. I don't know. I think you have to have someone else see it. I don't know how to do it. I really don't. I mentioned my buddy, one of the snipers in there, that he's killed hundreds and hundreds of people, and I don't know how. I don't think he ever confirmed one. But he saved my ass a bunch of times.
That's what doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, what if you cut their ears off and wear them on a necklace like in those Vietnam movies?
I know there's a rule out there, but I don't think anyone ever bothered to do it. You have your after action reports, and you write down how many people were killed inside, and that's about it.
So is that when you get back and you take your gear off, and is that when you all go like in a room? Do you guys literally have to write down paperwork?
Yeah. Usually, when we were getting done, we do what's called shooter statements, just to say why you killed somebody, what they did. Usually, you want to take pictures of the people as they were, just so you have proof of he dropped his gun there, he had a grenade here, and this is why he did it, and just cleans it up. But it's a lot of work for these people, and they seem to believe them more than they believe us.
Yeah, that's got to be infuriating. But Just a couple more quick. When you talked about rules of engagement, isn't that what was the death of those guys with Marcus Luttrell and the lone survivor? Where they let the goat herder go or something?
Yeah, they let the couple of the goat herders go, and then that's who got the Taliban after them. And they'll do that too. And I mean, that's a tough place to operate. It's a tough place to try to hide. Those people have been there for thousands of years. They know everything, literally stone unturned type stuff. And I wasn't on the ground for that part, so I don't know the decision that was made. But I mean, you can't just kill them either. So it's a. I mean, I don't want to second guess them because I wasn't there for that. I mean, it just sucks. They got in a really bad fight. Marcus, he got some demons. That's a tough thing to go through. I'd imagine. I've never seen a friend die in person, and he had to watch his friends dying. I can't imagine it. It sucks.
For sure. I read the book, and who knows if it's how. I mean, I hope it's accurate. But he talks about like the back and forth they had of what do we do with these guys? Do we shoot them? Do we let them go? Yeah. And they let them go, and they alerted. And these guys died. Like, I guess the only, believe me, I'm never ever acting like I know anything of what I'm talking about. I guess you could have tied them to a tree. Yeah, I mean, you could have done that. You could have walked them out, put them on the helicopter with you, maybe. I don't know. But again, I hate to, I don't want to trample on anyone's graves here. They did what they did what they thought was the best thing to do, and it just turned out shitty. Yeah. So, are you worked with Jocko Willink, didn't you? Yeah. He actually lived in my apartment for a while. Really? Yeah. He's Jocko is one in a million, man. He's was he? So Jocko I would imagine a lot of people know Jocko. He wrote a great book. His podcast is great. He's all over the place. Jiu-jitsu. He's a giant monster of a man. Yeah, and he's actually really funny, and you can't tell. You can't tell because he's pretty intense. But no, I think he's always been the toughest person I've ever known, and it's just. And what's funny though is I don't think he's ever hurt anybody. This was on purpose. Like he's really good at what he does, and he was the best jiu-jitsu guy I knew, and that was 20 years ago. Now he's insane, but really smart. He's always been really funny, and he's doing really well. He's a good dude. What was his title? I saw a picture I think you posted of you were getting sworn in with him. He re-enlisted me. He went through what was called a Seaman to Admiral program, which takes enlisted guys and turns them into officers. He just got promoted because he was just a top tier guy, and they wanted him to be an officer. So he was a lieutenant for me, and he got out as a commander. I think he was a commanding officer, at least of a task unit commander. Okay, so he led some guys over in Ramadi. They got a bunch of fights over there. You mentioned Jimmy Hatch as well, and his dog getting killed. I had Jimmy on here a while back and got to know him over the last couple of years too. He's another one. He's unique. I love Jimmy. Jimmy told a story about how he went crazy, and he said he was on his front porch with a gun and a knife saying he was going to kill the cops and everything. I wasn't going to bring that up, but that happened. He told I was like, damn, Jimmy, you didn't have to say that. But I was like, and he was like, I have to give these cops a lot of credit because he's like, they should have shot me 100%. Yeah. He'll be the first to admit it too. He went through some stuff too. Yeah. He got shot going after Bergdahl when we were trying to rescue Bull Bergdahl. Yeah, Jimmy is another one too. I guess I'm pretty much bring up any one of the guys and I'll say, yeah, just amazing and unique, and they're awesome dudes. Yeah, Jimmy's a hell of a skydiver too. Yeah, how did you not fall into that trap of where just crazy PTSD, everything you've been through? How do you do? You don't have any demons? I was pretty, a couple, but nothing bad. I was fortunate. I've never seen a friend get hurt in front of me, and that's crazy for combat. Never hurt. I've had friends die. A lot of friends died, but I wasn't there. I've never seen a child get hurt in combat. We were always good at protecting them. So I've been lucky. I mean, I've seen some stuff, but I'm also a believer that it was what I was there to do. It's a warrior culture. You go to war and you come back and you get over it. If you had a son, would you want him to join the military? No, if he did, I would want him to fly jets. I'd say play baseball, go to the academy, and fly jets. Turn him into a left-handed pitcher and make $200 million. Yeah, right. That's what you got to do. Fly jets too. There's no dogfights anymore. It's in Top Gun. Oh, you shoot him from across the horizon, and it's still cool. It's still. I always remember the pilots at the bar. I'm like, oh, cool, Navy pilot. That's the second coolest job in the Navy. I went up with a Thunderbird, or I'm going up with the Thunderbirds here in a month. Really? They're going to make you puke, right? On purpose. Oh, so I went up with the Blue Angels a couple years ago. Bro, I puked 4 or 5 times and was deathly sick the whole time. Yes, but it's awesome. And blacked out. And I have the 40-minute GoPro video of it, and now the Thunderbirds I'm going up with. And I was open. I said, hey man, I'm not gonna be the tough guy and act like you can't make me black out. I was like, I'm gonna pass out, and I promise you, I was like, I get sick in the car, so I am definitely puky today. And I got out of that plane, and both my cargo pockets were packed to the brim with puke bags. So here, awesome. The Dayton Air Show is coming in June. Whew, I can't wait, man. It was too cool. Have you ever been up there and done that?
No, I gotta check it out. I got some buddies up there, and some SEALs live up there.
Oh, they're crazy, man. To think that they're actually flying the plane, doing all that. I'm like, these guys are controlling this as I'm trying to do the kipping, do your breathing, and I just started yelling. I was going,
yeah. They don't even wear the anti-G suit because they have those suits that will squeeze your leg to keep your blood in your head. Some guys don't even wear it. I don't know. They're hardcore.
Yeah, I think the Thunderbirds, I get to wear it with them. I didn't with the Blue Angels, but I will with Thunderbirds. Yeah. But not Jimmy. We're talking about Jimmy Hatch. Rob, really appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
The Operator. The book. What's the secondary title, the underneath line?
Firing the shots that killed Osama bin Laden.
I guess that was important.
SEAL Team Warrior.
That was an important part I left out. Yeah, firing the shots that killed Osama bin Laden.
And my years as a SEAL Team Warrior because I couldn't put a certain number on there.
Yeah, SEAL Team. And the best is the book. And when we were SEAL Team beep, and it beeped like it was a cuss word.
We weren't sure what to do with that. It's pretty funny.
Oh, it was beautiful, man. I loved it. That's the one thing, though. So I saw you at the Derby quickly. And I always wondered, I asked you last time, 2014, I saw you at the Derby, and then I talked to some different people that you were talking to. They say, well, isn't he worried? Isn't he just like scared all the time that ISIS is coming after him? I'm like, I don't know, man. He told me a couple of years ago he has like measures, but he feels okay. And I don't know, like, has that changed at all?
No, I mean, it's out there. Just be aware of it and protect yourself. Security stuff in line, everything from guns to dogs to, cameras and stuff, whatever you can do.
So but it's not like you're trying to hide.
Not really. I mean, I'm not advertising where I am because there are crazies out there. But I mean, it's worth it to help the families of 9/11. It's worth it to they get closure. They get healing out of it. They've told me, and I usually get emails every single day, so that's worth it.
Man, that's awesome. All right, man. We had a great time with you at the Derby. Hopefully, I'll see you there again next year.
I'll be there.
You're rolling around with Kid Rock.
Yeah. Kid Rock in the party bus. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. Obviously, guys, the fun thing I'm sure you've noticed as time has gone is like the whispers of when like you walk into a place and people know, like, and where we were was up in this terrace where there's a lot of different athletes and Patriots guys, and I was with the Packers guys and then musicians, and all of a sudden I saw you. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I'll let you make your rounds. And I went over to talk to you for a while. But people start to like whisper they figure out who you are. The people that don't know, they're like, oh, and then they come grab me. This the guy that shot Bin Laden. I'm like, oh my god, it is. Do you see that when you go places where like a couple people know and it just starts getting past like telephone?
Yeah, it's cool. People have been good to me, so I'm not complaining. But it is kind of funny. You can see the whispers start to happen. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I watched it firsthand there. So, Rob, appreciate it. We'll put a link up to your book and Twitter and everything on here. But I definitely recommend the book. It's awesome. I know it's doing really well, but it was awesome. Everything even before, I didn't even get it for the Bin Laden raid, and that part was great. But man, everything else, your whole journey was crazy, and I really appreciate you putting it out there.
Outstanding. Thanks for having me on here again.
All right, Rob.
All right, buddy.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
We're glad you could join us for today's conversation. After you subscribe to the show, head over to thehawkcast.com or reach out to AJ directly on Twitter at @officialAJHawk to recommend future guests that will help us inspire people to keep talking. Thanks again, and we look forward to speaking with you next time on the HawkCast.